Welcome to the Content Creators Guide. This is a place where we expand our knowledge on what it takes to be successful in an ever-expanding world of content creation. Join me as I sit down with individuals sharing their success stories and tips that help them get over the hurdles they faced on their journey to creation success. All right, let's create. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Content Creators Guide. I'll be your host, Patrick Conway, also known in other circles as Jaxus. Before we get started, please take the time to like and subscribe to my YouTube page. And if you're listening on one of our many podcatchers out there, please follow, write me a review. It would be much appreciated. If anything we talk about tonight is of special interest to you and you have additional questions or maybe some comments on how things could be done different or better than what you heard, maybe you've got it, maybe you know something we don't, that'd be great. If you do, please contact me on Twitter at @CCreatorsGuide, or you can also send me an email using ccreatorsguide@gmail.com, or you can also go to our Discord page, which is connected to robotsradio.net. If you go to that web page there, go down to the bottom, you'll go find a little Discord thing there. It's a big, huge community of gamers, Twitch people, everything you can think of under the sun. And you'll also find my show within the channels in there. And you can leave me a message there and we can talk about stuff there. Anyway, so today we're going to be focusing on Twitch and streaming music. And today with me, I've got the one and only, the human juke, Danny K. Say hello, Danny.
What's up, everybody? Good to be back, man. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely, man. I am so glad you are here. To me, you're like the best, perfect person to go through what that comes to like teaching people on how to get going on Twitch and things like that. So, what I wanted to do here is let's pretend that I've got a guitar, I've got a keyboard, and I've got a decent microphone, and I kind of have a good idea of what I'm doing when it comes to like plugging into an amplifier or, maybe plugging into a PA system outside of the computer world. But how does that transition to digital and the Twitch world? How do I get started?
Well, it really seems pretty daunting at first, because I remember for myself when I came into it, I was more or less thrust into it because all of my live performance options were taken away suddenly by COVID. So it was just me suddenly trying to figure everything out. So hopefully the people out there getting started are a little less under the gun as far as having to figure this out quickly. There was good and bad to being really forced into it. But I mean, essentially, I when I came into it, I had been a live performer for almost 18 years at that point, and had zero experience with streaming. I hadn't even worked with really with PCs at all. Max worked too, but I had very little experience when it came to the entirety of digital. In DAWs and electronically recording music, I didn't have a lot of experience. So I was really having to learn everything from the start. And
shooting from the hip, right?
Yeah, it just trying to solve the problems as they came up. And I think the one overarching thing I want to stress before I even say anything regarding what you should do is that when you're streaming, like simplicity is really fine. It's very easy. I mean, like, coming from me and looking around at everything that I have surrounding me, I can understand how that might seem disingenuous. However, I really have at least come to understand that the core of what you're doing, that if all you have is one camera and it's a decent camera, like that's all you need. If all you have is one decent 2-input interface, that's all you need. You don't need a ton of crazy lighting. You just need like good lighting for your camera. So just one thing to remember that while it seems like there's all of these things that you might need to get in a row before you stream, just remember that getting one good way of accomplishing each of those goals is what's going to be the theme here. And I also want to stress that each person who is coming at it is coming with their own gifts, their own strengths, and that streaming really it's all about playing to those strengths, which I think is actually a great overarching thing to remember in any entertainment space, like anywhere, whatever it is you're doing. You play up your strengths and you downplay what your weaknesses are. So
don't try to sing stuff you suck at.
Well, that's true. Right. Exactly. If it's out of your range, don't sing it. Otherwise you sound bad. But that could also apply to, don't try and go crazy with all these different scenes in your streaming software and stuff if you're not very technically minded. Like having a very simple, clean, good-looking scene like is fine. You figure out what you're good at, and then you can grow in those areas and work on the ones that you aren't. And that's really what the name of the game was for me, because I had the entertainment thing down. I work live audiences in an all request show that's never scripted. So I'm entirely off the cuff, even though some of the requests are definitely repeated, from night after night. It's still all like, what am I doing right now? There is no set list. There is no script. So I'm comfortable in that sort of space.
Do you find a lot of freedom in that?
It's funny. I find a lot more freedom in streaming than I do in my live shows. And I don't know if it's because I'm also, I think in a bar, I'm also selling alcohol. Like, let's face it,
okay,
I'm trying to keep bodies there. So my highest morality there is not really my artistry. It's, am I keeping butts in the seats and keeping the bar like full and making money?
Okay.
For streaming, I don't have, I'm not, no one else is in control of my space, in control of when I go live. No one is telling me I can't play this song because it's going to kill the room and everyone's going to leave. Like, I make all those decisions. So really, for me, the freedom was coming here on Twitch and developing this show. That was where the real freedom was, because I could do a show at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I could play, all B-sides, and ultimately, like, if people don't watch, yes, that's on me. But like, I'm. No one is telling me what to do. So the real freedom was in streaming.
Okay.
And there's so many ways that you can go about doing it. But so if we're really going to break it down and talk about what do you need, if you are a musician,
if you got the guitar
not have
and
any
stuff,
experience,
and you want to plug in, you just want to be able to plug it in and turn it on. Like, what do I need? Like, do you need something special for your computer to be able to plug in? Or
you definitely do need a computer,
right?
And then you need a way to capture that audio, and usually that's done with some sort of audio interface. Like I use here when I first started. Let me see. So, for example, this is a Focusrite audio interface. This has 4 XLR or instrument inputs, and then it actually has 4 instrument inputs on the back. It's got a couple of different headphones mixes that
RCA
you can
jack
control.
openings.
It's not RCA jack. It's a SPDIF, which would be which is a digital way for audio to communicate. Like if you were hooking up a couple of these together. But if we're just talking simple, you can get an interface like I've got one that just has two inputs. And if you're a simple musician and you have a let's say a keyboard and a piano, then that's all you need. If you're going to plug your piano, if you're going to use the sounds on your piano, if you don't use them digitally on a computer, you just plug your instrument directly into the interface, and then the interface by USB to your computer.
So it goes from XLR to USB.
Yeah, it'll take XLR or whatever it is that you're running, that you're inputting to it. It will convert it all digitally, and then connected by USB from that to your computer.
So you don't have to have an XLR connection on your sound card to be able to do this.
No, basically, this is audio interfaces are like oddboard sound cards.
Okay.
It really is just it's a analog to digital converter that's happening in this box. It's taking the analog signal that you're sending it and converting it into numbers and communicating that to the computer.
Okay. So it kind of takes the place of that XLR sound card that you would buy and put in your computer.
Right. So if you use a let's say, you're used to live, another option would be there's a lot of simple mixers now that come with a USB out. So if you are good, if you've used a basic PA mixer, then that learning curve is pretty easy, because then it's simply like your current mixer, if you're playing out, might even have a USB on it that you can immediately use it on your computer to stream. And I found, because I found when I first started, that was the name of the game for me, was like, what can I use that I have already? What can I just automatically use? So if you do have a mixer, I'd say, check and see if it's something that you can plug into your computer. If it has a USB out, then chances are you can send your all your instrument signals directly from there.
All right, cool. Yeah.
So hardware wise, that's really all you need. You need a decent computer, and I would highly recommend never relying on a wireless connection. Always if you can go direct from your router with a actual like network cable, do that.
And I think that applies to anybody doing any kind of stream, not just music.
For sure.
That's anything.
For sure.
Hardline all the time.
Yeah. But so hardware wise, that's really what you need. Is you need your audio interface, some way to get your instruments into the computer. Then you're going to need some sort of software. There's a lot of different choices, and depending on your comfortability with technology and computers, like if I would recommend the one that the most people use is OBS, Open Broadcaster Software. It's totally free. It's well supported. It's updated continually. All of the top streamers, whether it be music or
what I use,
video games, like everybody uses OBS
or some variation of it. Yeah,
right, or some variation of it. Yeah, because Stream Elements has their version. There's a Streamlabs version that kind of took OBS. There's
one note on that is if you use Streamlabs or you use Stream Elements, they put a lot more stress on your PC. Keep that in mind. OBS Studios by itself, bare bones, in my opinion, is a lot less stress on your computer, and it's pretty simple to use that way. I would agree. Now, it is not pretty, nor does it hand feed you like here's what you should do next. It really doesn't help you through the setup. Now, there's plenty of
of videos on YouTube to help you through, any one of these programs. But if you are, let's say you're someone who is really, illiterate when it comes to, technology, and you need simple, then like Twitch Studio is a very simple way to plug and play and get connected to Twitch. And it walks you through the setup. What's your camera? What's your channel name? Where it really asks you all the questions. So I think those would be the top two that I would recommend if you're starting out. And if you are utilizing let's say a MIDI keyboard, like I do, this keyboard doesn't have any sounds on it. I use virtual instruments. Then obviously you'd need some software for that for your instrumentation and such. But yeah, that's really all you need. If you have a microphone and an instrument and an audio interface and the software, then you have all the tools and a camera, obviously.
Yeah.
I think a camera is highly budget wise, what you can afford. I don't recommend spending crazy money on cameras right now, but like even you could spend anywhere from like $60 to get a really basic webcam that's going to look
which is
okay.
what I'm using right now. And so here's a prime example: is if you look at me and you see how it's now, mind you, I'm using a green screen. If you guys see here, I actually have a background, so
right.
That's a green screen. And what it does is it kind of, you can see how I'm kind of pixelated in a little bit, and there's a little splotchy behind me. Now, mind you, I can adjust that with my settings, and I just recently did that because it's kind of messed up. So that's why I got that kind of like, if you look at it, it's kind of like doing this in the background, little spots. Now, if you look at Danny, and you can see that it's just crisp and clear and clean, it's because he's probably using a decent, like regular quality camera like you would use out on with your family. What was it, like a $200 camera, maybe more?
Yeah, a little more than that.
Yeah, but you've got a high quality camera, though.
I worked my yeah. It's so this is actually a Sony mirrorless Alpha 6400, which probably runs anywhere between $850 and $1,000.
Okay, so you got really high cap. Now,
yeah,
mind you, you can get a $200 camera for like Canon that'll be better than mine and closer to his.
Totally can. And what I was going to say is it depends on because if you buy a regular camera, then you're going to need to buy some sort of capture card. If you buy a webcam, that is literally just USB, plug it in. There's your so there's no extra purchase there either. So I would recommend if you're just starting out, buy your do some research and buy a decent webcam. Don't go for brand X that's just seems like the cheapest one that you could possibly get. Although I've seen people stream with lousy freaking cameras and do just fine. But like Elgato has their face cam extremely nice right out of the box. It's plug and play. The software that works with it is great, and you need nothing else. So you see what you are looking to invest, and I think those run about 200. But you could spend $60-$70 on a Logitech webcam, what is it, the 622 or something like that, and still get a really decent picture out of it. And with that, it would also be lighting. That the way you light yourself has everything to do with how your camera is going to make you look. So you make sure that you have some sort of good light source, and that it's not too dim, not too bright, and that it's lighting up everything that you want your audience to see as well. Again, I there's there's plenty I could go into detail, and like if you search YouTube for how to light using a webcam, like you can learn a lot.
We'll do another episode on just lighting.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. There we could.
Yeah.
But and again, doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be crazy. Like you can have a very well lit uh scene with just a couple of lamps,
Well, and I've seen
maybe
the same, like
some
you got
shades
background
that are.
there.
What's that?
So I've seen a lot of them in the same like kind of basic, like how you've got that purplishly red kind of color in the background. I've seen a lot of people use that as like a mood lighting element, and it seems to be something that the cameras are very comfortable with. That purpley red color.
Yeah, it's definitely a streamer thing. Like at Twitch, there's a lot of purple. There's a lot of purple and pink.
And red.
Like yeah.
Purple, red, and pink.
But I'm spoiled here because I've got all kinds of different scenes I can even do with the push of a button. But and see, I don't even have a green screen. That's my green screen. I throw up the light behind me and then key out the green, so I actually don't even need the curtain. But yeah, like that you're right. That could be a whole nother stream talking about. I use Lumia Stream to control all my Wi-Fi lights and stuff. It's ridiculous.
He's got quite the setup, guys.
But again, totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like when you are starting out, there are no guarantees that you're going to make money. There are no guarantees that you're going to enjoy it. It's doesn't make any sense at the beginning to invest a crazy amount. But you have a good webcam, you will always find a use to have a really nice webcam that makes you look good on a video call. You will if you're if you are a music person, you will find a reason to use that interface, maybe to record your own demo or something and be able to save it on the computer and share it that way. Or if someone's got a track they want you to play a lead guitar thing on, then you've got your interface and you're able to do that on your end. So these are investments that aren't like, oh well, I'm not streaming now, it's totally useless. They will be useful, and OBS is free. So I mean, even all of the software that you're going to get for actual streaming isn't going to cost you anything.
So real quick, for those that don't know, the microphone that he has is, I believe that's a Shure SMB, right?
SM7B. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that microphone there is an XLR input, blah, blah, blah. And so like, as you can see mine right here, I have the MV7, which is actually a USB and a XLR input. So mine, I have connected obviously USB. If you notice, the quality of the sound actually is not that greatly different. Now, the difference in price between that microphone and this microphone is almost astronomical. This microphone
is that about?
About 230. You can get one for about anywhere between 250 230. And then that one there, you've got
these are about
400. Yeah. So just that gives you guys a little idea. You can get really good microphones. Now, mind you, a lot of people will go out and buy like a Blue Yeti or whatever, and that's great for podcasting and stuff like that. But for music, you don't really kind of want something that's going to capture everything around you.
If you have an SM58, if you have a decent sounding dynamic microphone, like
that's key,
you're okay. It's like whatever you use live. When I first started, I just got a follow somehow on Twitch, so that happens even if I'm not currently streaming.
Funny.
So I'm sorry. We were saying
microphone.
I got distracted by the pretty lights.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Your whatever. If you have a live microphone that you use already, like when I first started, I think I was using my Sennheiser 835. Like it's like $100 microphone. Like
right, but it's a stage mic, right?
Simple workhorse, dynamic. live microphone that I use for every dueling piano show I ever play.
Mhm.
And yeah, it works great.
Okay.
Just plugging it directly into my interface. And and because it's a dynamic mic, I have to treat it as such. I gotta back off if I'm gonna be a little loud.
Blah. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, what you have will definitely get you started. You do not need to go buy a USB microphone. Yeah.
Either
So,
way, you can still plug in your port and call it a day.
yep.
All right, folks, we're
Yep.
going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. When we come back, I think we're going to get into things that now that you've got your sound and you can actually make noise and things like that, now we're going to start touching into things like overlays and monetization, and we'll get into those conversations coming up next. We'll be right back.
I'm your host, Maverick Stone.
It's me, Gingerino42.
I'm Romer.
Hey, this is Sassy Lady.
And I'm Jaxus, and we are the Fallout Roundtable. Join us as we explore various topics from the Fallout universe brought from multiple perspectives. We can be found on your favorite podcatchers from Spotify to iTunes, or follow us on Twitter at FalloutRTB or our email falloutrtb@gmail.com. Be sure to rate, follow, and subscribe. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the message. All right, we're going to get into the next part of the show, which so now we've got sound and we're able to stream. We've got that figured out. When we went through our Twitch tutorial, it kind of helped us through that. And now we're able to start and we're able to go live. Now, from that point on, now we're wanting to try to do add a few things. So what's more important? All right, so we got the lighting thing. We talked about that. So let's say they figured out some sort of lighting setup. Now, overlays, how important are they? Is it good to have them right off the bat like that? And what good are they to you in regards to helping you with your show?
Well, I think if we're talking truly right from the jump, there's not much that you really have to have.
Mm-hmm.
That simple, I think, is almost always better. Because if there's one thing I learned that people stick around in a stream for you. They're not there just for the overlays or the pretty lights you have on in the background. They're there for you and the engagement that you provide and the the content. Yeah.
So what about a song list or something like that? You know what I mean?
Well,
you got
that's a song list is definitely something we'll get into. I think the basic alert, something that lets you as the streamer and the viewer know when things happen. You can get free alerts through Stream Elements. I happen to really like Stream Elements. You can use Streamlabs. There's lots of Twitch Studio has them all built in as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the alerts are what tell your viewers when things happen, and what tells you there's some sort of sound and some sort of text. Sometimes you can have it read the text out to you, that this person gave so many bits, this person subbed to your channel, this person followed. And that helps everyone kind of know what's actually happening. So that's an important part of your overlay. But now, like you mentioned, streamer song list.
Yeah, to me, I think that would be a big deal.
It is. It's a great tool for musicians to be able to accept requests if that's the type of show they want to do. Not everyone does. Some people, they want to play their own set list, and you're certainly welcome to do that. But if you want to make it so that your viewers, at least some of the time, can look at a list of songs that you might be able to play and be able to request those, there's a way to authorize that. You go to streamersonglist.com, and you authenticate your Twitch account if you've already had your Twitch name. Basically any third party that you're going to be hooking up to your Twitch, you have to authenticate through Twitch with your username and password, and then give it permission to see certain information about your channel. So like with Streamer Song List, once you've authenticated, then you can actually build your own song list. You can give them attributes. You can say, this is rock and roll, this is a favorite or whatever. And then you through your chat in Twitch, your users can type a command and get a link to view your song list. They can, once they've authenticated their own Twitch channel, then they can actually request with the click of a button. And you can set limits to those requests, like users can only request one per stream, or if you can't request anything unless you're a subscriber. You can set all of those parameters for how you want to run the show. And then you have a way to actually take requests. The time-consuming thing is putting all of your songs into Streamer Song List. There's no easy way to do that, except there is a way that you can, which I was glad the functionality was there when I started, that I could make a spreadsheet that was formatted for it, and then import that spreadsheet instead of going through the Streamer Song List and actually like typing in each field all separately. Like I could put it all in a spreadsheet, copy paste the artists and everything, so I didn't have to type it out a million times and just dump that in. So I would highly recommend that, looking into how to make that spreadsheet file, and then it's really easy to work on, because I'm a weirdo. I have a lot of songs. I take requests for my job normally as a musician.
He is a weirdo, guys.
I have a lot of songs, but you do not need a lot of songs. I see lots of successful Twitch musicians with in between 100 and 200 tunes in their song list. And that never has to stay that way. You can always add, subtract. Oh, I'm sick of this song. Oh, I want to learn this new, you can always add to it as you go too. But Streamer Song List is a great tool. And like you said, it also has ways to create little cue, like visual representations of the songs that you might be coming up, so your viewers know whose song is next. And you can actually display that right on your screen through an overlay through OBS, and give your audience a view of what might be coming up, what you're playing now, how many songs left in your set list. All those things can be configured with a Streamer Song List.
Excellent. So now let's say that these guys have gotten to that point. How does anybody make any money? How do they monetize their stuff? How do they get tips, or how do they get it to where they can actually get a chunk of change out of this?
Well, there really is a ton of ways that I've seen musicians go about it. And I highly recommend that when you start, that you make things as accessible for your viewers as you can, and non-paywalled as you can, because it's really easy. Compared to live, I had to adjust my expectations of like, okay, I played a song, so I get a tip for that song because they requested it.
Right.
Like, you're fortunate if you can get to a point where you have so many viewers and you could say, hey, you really only get your song if you pay for it. But in Twitch, because of the way it works, it's you have to kind of build that audience first. So starting out, I suggest you, if you're using Streamer Song List, if you want to make it, you have to follow in order to request a song. Like, I think that makes sense. But like making it so that you have to subscribe before you can request right out of the gate doesn't make a lot of sense. I
No, because you
think
want to get them in there first, and you want them to
right.
get comfortable
you
with the environment. You're building a
gotta
community.
got to hook them a little bit. And
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing too, is that like you figure out that people will give when they start to feel like you're invested in it as well. That, even just having those alerts up there, it gives, the viewers a sense of, oh, I just gave them something and now something's happening because of that.
So do you make a
what
decent amount off of like bits and things like that?
Well, I do.
Mhm.
It depends. I have a couple different strategies that I use, and there's really, depending on the kind of show that you want to run, there's a myriad of ways that you can incentivize people giving bits, whether it's for every time someone gives this particular bit number, this sound plays.
Right. I noticed you
it-
eat nasty tasting jelly beans and things like
Yeah,
that.
right. Early on in my thing, I had a mod who his name was literally Bean Dealer, and he sent me these and was like, here, monetize, like you use it as a thing and make people, if people want you to do one, have them give you a certain amount of bits. So I started out at a fairly low number. I don't know, I want to say it was like 100 or 200 bits, and mind you too, that as these things grow and evolve, like they can also change. So like I might have started out at 100 bits, but once people realized that it only cost them $1 to have me eat one of these beans, it was all I was doing for a stream, and I had to go like, all right, well, what is my
Limit?
cost to like tolerance ratio? Where am I? All right, well, if someone wants to give me that, then I will eat as many beans as what people want to give me, and that's different for everybody. And I think that's really the name of the game entirely in monetizing for bits, is that you can do anything. You can say, like, if I get this amount of bits, I'm going to stand up and dance to, Never Gonna Give You Up, and I'm going to play that on here. And like whatever it is, like if that's something, if you're an outgoing person who likes to be a super goofball on camera, then find a couple ways to do that, and let people know somehow, whether on an overlay or on a timer in your chat, the different things that they might be able to get you to do for cash. Yeah, they might be able to get you put a pig king hat on your head, and yeah, there's all kinds of ways that you can incentivize bits. And in particular, Twitch has the hype train
Yes.
mechanic, which is really just a way to concentrate a community's giving to make it, seem like they're all working towards this goal of supporting you.
I almost feel obligated because I want to see it get to the end. Like every time you do, like it's a psychological trick almost. It
is.
I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, and you want to beat, your community wants to beat the record of that might have had this one time, and
yeah, 6 or 8
and there's
trains.
all kinds of different ways that people incentivize that. Like I have actually developed a whole bot around that hype train process. Like I've worked really hard to make our hype trains unique and exciting. And I've actually got some really cool things coming up here very, very soon too, to add to that ridiculousness. So
I love when you do the musical mashup thing. Where you jump from song to song to song to song. I think that's
that's it. Now we have this we have a great system now that is we've built it so that it is modular and able to be kind of changed as we go. So we've got a couple new things coming with that I'm excited about.
Yeah. And then I've also seen guys, like other things people do is they'll grab 2 songs, or they'll grab a song and they'll sing it in the style of another song, which is something I've seen other people do. So there's so many different things that people can do to change things up, monetize it, figure out a way. Or I've seen people literally shut off all the instruments and do like a William Shatner poet reading of a song, or you know.
Yep. No,
Uh,
there's a million different ways, and I think like I said at the beginning too, it's about playing to your strengths. If you have a couple of weird talents that you are always like, there is never going to be a reason like that someone wants to hear my Eric Cartman impression, like but no,
MFN, Big Bone.
there is like you'll try it during a song or something, and everyone will be like, that was amazing, and then suddenly you're like, oh well, maybe that's a thing that I can do, that I can have people
Eric
actually
Cartman
ask
singing
for.
"Taking Away."
Yeah. Uh-huh. It's like I was doing a wheel of impersonations thing where we were spinning a wheel, and then I would do whatever dumb voice came up on the wheel. And that was a
Sing a
channel
song
point
that way?
redemption, actually.
That's got to be a challenge, especially for somebody who's like, I do voices for voice acting and stuff, but I don't know if I could like belt out a song like as Batman. You know?
Well, right, but Batman wouldn't belt out a song.
Right.
He might belt out a couple notes, but he'd probably talk through most of it,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Here we
You know,
go.
Yeah, it would all be like it would almost be like Shatner-esque, but it would be Batman talking
Right.
talking through it, very very low. But yeah, think of the things that you're good at, and see how you can bring those, because you are not in a bar anymore. You are not at a coffee house. This is a different animal, and people are here hanging with you, and it's weirdly personal.
It's almost like chilling in a garage with your friends that know how to play music.
Yeah, but you're the only one there.
Right.
Even though you're one of 100 people watching, you're still alone in that room with this entertainer. So that connection is unlike anything else, and the power, like
dynamic.
There really is something. Yes, the dynamic in that is way different than a stage show. And I think it's important. You still like a stage show. You don't want dead air. Like, you don't want there to just be all this space where nothing's going on. But also, there's something about that dead air, that voyeuristic, that they're just kind of watching you, maybe figure this out, or have an idea, or try something that you've never done before.
I can attest to that. Yeah, because I've watched you try to figure something out, like have something screw up, and you're like, hang on a minute, guys, hang on a minute. And then you're sitting there messing around and stuff. I've actually been entertained just sitting there watching you figure it out, watching your wheels turn, especially like when you're like trying to like figure out, like, all right, I need to get a drum beat in here, and then you turn around and you're like messing with the keyboard over here. And I can see like the processing going on in your brain. And I'm like, this guy is really intelligent. Like, there's a level of intelligence that it's not like, well, it's one thing to be smart, but when you can like grab this and grab that, it's almost like a futuristic computer where you got the screens all up in front of you, and you're grabbing this piece from here and that piece from there, and I need that over there, and you're trying to connect all these pieces, and it's like I can just see it all happening in your head. And
well, the one thing I think, when you do like, let's say a 2-hour set, somewhere, and what you're gonna play, like, you have rehearsed that stuff. You're trying to get it as polished as possible. And there's a lot of Twitch where that's very valuable, to have something you've played so many times, like you just nail it. It's great. But like for me, I have done so much learning on stream, almost entirely on stream. To be totally honest, for my entire career, so much of what my performance has been about, doing it for the first time in front of people. And I think getting comfortable with that is a really useful skill to have. And I think a lot of musicians find that very strange when they first come into, like, another way to monetize is like live learns. People will say like, hey, do you know this song? And you will be like, well, I don't, but for this amount of money, I'll learn the song that you want me to learn. live here on stream. I'll take the time. Now that's time consuming, and maybe you're a person who's not good at doing that, so maybe that's not a good idea. But if you have a really good ear and you are good at figuring out the basics of a song first and then being able to perform it for somebody, that's another way that you can drum up tips or bits or whatever.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
So what do you got coming up next? I do know that you've just now put out a movie, right?
We just dropped the release date today on May 21st. We've got my movie Duelers coming out. I got to act for the first time. I went to school for musical theater, so like that was what I was supposed to be doing all along. But somehow I got roped into dueling pianos, and here I am, 20 years later, still doing it. However, fortunately, those worlds collided, and someone, my buddy Drew DeFore, another super talented musician. He has a lot of original music. He got it in his head that he was going to write a movie, and then he did. And then he was like, "I'm going to make this movie, and I'm going to cast dueling piano players," and he did. So it's about a dueling piano bar where everyone's performing that night. You're watching all the different interactions between the players and the requests. And all the music is original, by the way.
Nice.
The audience is kind of in on it, that like this isn't necessarily like everybody's singing all these songs as if they know them, like a regular dueling piano bar. But they're all Drew's tunes, and they're all really good. Some of them were written particularly for the musical. Some of them are like from albums he's written over the past couple decades, and it's really, really good music. So we all get to perform. There's music throughout. I want to say 16 songs, maybe. So lots of music.
Is it all based in one night? Like,
yeah,
the movie's like
it is.
That's cool. I love movies like that. Yeah.
There's a flashback that happens midway through the movie that doesn't happen on that night, but it's literally like a 5-minute, 10-minute flashback of one particular day. Everything else happens like on that night as things are going.
That's cool. It's one of those, like, to me, it's like one of those experience movies, or coming to like coming of age movies, where they have like somebody goes and shows up for that one whole night and all this crazy stuff happens. Those are some of the best kind of movies. So I see good things here.
I loved it. It turned out really great. And I mean, they shot it for a song, but they had really excellent people doing the major jobs. They spent all their money on the cameras, and you can tell because it looks beautiful, and the music's great, and the acting is. I'm a little rusty, but I had fun, and we shot it in 2 weeks.
From what I saw, it was great. So
no, I'm proud of it. I am proud of it, because I'll tell everybody, but I'm not going to win any Oscars. I don't think.
You don't know yet, man. Hey, you never know. Independent films do great things,
Yeah.
Hey, help Danny's movie get out there, guys. This
yeah,
will be
please.
Great. Yeah,
it's Duelers. You can search Duelers on YouTube and find it. It's dropping. There's lots of clips to be found on that page right now, and if you subscribe and like that, that is where the movie premiere will be happening, on that YouTube page.
Oh wow,
7 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern, on Sunday, May 21st. So
excellent. I'll be there.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. So got anything else coming up? Anything you'd like to promote? Obviously, let people know where to find you.
Yeah, come and see me on Twitch, twitch.tv/HumanJuke81. I'm on Mondays, Wednesdays, many Thursdays, and some Saturdays. I perform at Bobby McKee's near Washington, D.C. in National Harbor once a month. I perform at 88 Keys in Myrtle Beach one weekend a month. And then also near my home up in Spruce Pine one weekend a month. So if any of those cities are nearby you, come see me live. I'm Danny Kaye. You can check those web pages and schedules to find out exactly where I'm going to be there. And then Twitch, I'm here all the time. So come jump and chat and say hi.
Did you tell me your Twitch channel name?
Yeah, Human Juke
Human
81.
Okay. Want to make sure that got out there. Otherwise, I'm
No,
going to be
I appreciate that.
All right, folks. If you get a chance, please check out all. Dude, this is a very talented individual that I've been talking to here. Take the time to at least take a look. You may or may not be your cup of tea, but give yourself a chance. Take a look. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Everybody,
And if you're listening to this and you have questions, like I'm super open on chat too. Like come and talk to me if you're trying to get started and want to know. I have a Discord server that we run too, that we kind of answer plenty of questions and have off-stream discussions in there as well. So yeah,
Don't
if
forget
you are
movie
a
night.
musician, yeah, Tuesday night's movie night. But if you're a musician, I know what it was like. I got a lot of help from other Twitch streamers. That's another. Don't be afraid to reach out and talk to other people who may have been there where you are right now, looking at streaming and being like, I don't even know how to start. Hopefully this podcast, what Jaxus is doing here is super helpful for y'all. It's awesome to have a resource, like this to be able to listen to and learn from. But all of our problems always end up being very specific to, ourselves. I remember having very specific problems that I needed to talk to somebody. So, reach out to somebody, reach out to me.
excellent. All right, folks, that's going to do us for tonight. Thank you, Danny, very much for being on my show.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, and if you guys want to catch us later, I'll put the descriptions and whatnot. And yeah, good night. See you later.
Cheers, y'all.
Keep creating. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.